My name is Jane Scouten. I am a songwriter and a herbalist. I live in Moniaive in Dumfries and Galloway in southwest Scotland. I moved with my husband to Moniaive in September 2019, and I started training as a medical herbalist in May 2020, and I'll hopefully be qualifying in June 2023. We made Turn to Gold, our new album, in Vancouver in 2020 during a heat wave, and it'll be out this year. I think of this album, Turn to Gold, as a road trip album. I want people to turn on their engines and head out on an adventure and say, you know what I want to listen to? Jane Scouten's new album.
Wanderlust, when you feel your heart could break.
Wanderlust means like the lust for wandering, like the desire to hit the open road, itchy feet. Yeah.
Wanderlust.
In September 2019, we packed everything we had into a Renault Clio and drove from Luxembourg to Moniaive, and we've been here ever since.
Yeah, so this is our tiny garden. It's tiny but mighty, and I don't know, like everything's new to me. This whole landscape is new, and as a result, I don't take it for granted. Well, I mean, in the sense that it's not like something. These plants or animals are things that I've grown up with knowing, and so, you know, every little thing will kind of turn my head and like, oh, that's a bit strange, and make me want to know more about it. And I find the more you know about something, the more you care about something. This is my friend's land, and I know that they don't spray pesticides, so every other farmer's field, pesticides or herbicides, I don't know unless I've asked the farmer or the landowner what they've done with it. So, you know, I've got peace of mind that way. They're tall, but they're still kind of young and juicy. All of this, I'll chop it up, put it in a put it in a glass jar and cover it with vodka and make a tincture. You leave it out of the sun for a month. Just somewhere kind of cool and dry. So like my herb cupboard, my apothecary is what it's called. And then after a month you strain it off and it's ready to go. So I would put a nettle tincture in somebody's mix if they maybe had seasonal allergies because it's full of antihistamines. Maybe if somebody is prone to anemia, I would put it in there because it's also full of iron. But it's like David Hoffman said, when in doubt, use nettle.
Left me here instead. Now all the memories have grown cold. Worn smooth or turned to gold.
So many journals in my life, and I've moved so often that it's hard to hold on to any of them. All these songs, like, they took me years to write. This is the song Turn to Gold. I love infusing images in. To me, that's kind of the point of lyrics, is attaching images to music.
I thought that I might have been ready to give it up, to do something else with my life, and then sort of strangely through the process of doing something else very, very different, I came back to my love of songwriting and performing sort of with I think kind of a deeper purpose. And we made this record that is better than any record I've made, I think. So why not throw my hat back in the ring and see what happens? You know, if you're still making stuff that you're proud of, keep going if you've got it in you.
My heart ain't broken, it just ain't working right. The wheels go round and round, but the bolts aren't screwed on tight. I've been rolling down the road in a black smoke cloud for years. Might look like a motor oil, it's just bottled up tears.
My mother died really early in my life, and the fallout of that was, you know, pretty catastrophic. You don't quite piece yourself back together, because how do you when you're 2? So yeah, that's kind of what that's about. It's like, yeah, I got hit by a truck, and I didn't run, and I haven't been running all that well ever since.
I used to shine like a new dime, but there's one thing that I forgot. The hurt struck like a pickup truck the moment I drove off the lot.
I've always had a connection to Scotland because my adoptive mother is Scottish. My grandparents are Scottish, so they left Glasgow in 1964.
My heart ain't broken, it just ain't working right. The wheels go round and round, but the bolts aren't screwed on tight.
Being in Scotland, I am able to reinforce a connection to a family that you can't take for granted. The longer I'm here, the more I realize, I'm like, why Scotland? It must be, yeah, this kind of searching for a belonging to a family. I feel more connected to my community because it's such a small community. And even if you've got nothing in common with somebody, what you have in common is Moniaive. And the experience of living here. I think it's taught me a lot of humility, that I don't just have to like hang out with somebody who reminds me of myself, who can reinforce my worldview. I can find connection with, you know, the farmer. I mean, they're actually usually most interesting because they've got good stories. Or, you know, anyone who happens to be around. You just make that connection with them.
We're in Watson's Groceries. Hey guys. This is Graham's shop. It's right across the street from the pub, and that's all you need. Pub on one side, shop on the other. Oh yeah, classic. You familiar? Yeah. This is Delicia, Greg, David, Giles. Oh, there's Alex. Tim, right next to Graham, obviously. Two sides of the same coin, those two. Even though they probably wouldn't want to hear that. A lot of artists here. Oh, there's Steve. I wrote this chorus for Dragonheart right here, and then it took me like a year and a half to write the rest of the song, and I was just coming up with these ideas. I didn't think this song was ever gonna work because I was like, this is gonna be so cheesy. It's still so cheesy, but it makes me so happy. I love this song. I love how it turned out.
And a smoke belly full of fire. My dragon heart, you're my little dragon.
being a songwriter, you get a lot of attention, and it's possible to become slightly egotistical. It's nice to be involved in a practice which is all about being absorbed in the other and caring for the other and making them the center of your attention. It's a really excellent foil from being a front person in a band. They balance each other. I became a herbalist because I discovered this overwhelming love of medicinal plants, and it was something that I didn't have an opportunity to dive into as deeply as I'd like to until COVID came around, and that was my opportunity, and I seized it. It's made me a far more understanding person. I have a lot more patience and I think reverence for different people's experience. I've learned that you aren't one thing, even though being a musician can be completely all-encompassing and self-defining. There are many things that can define you, and I am now many things, maybe as I've always been, and we all are many things.